covenant.
If you look into biblical text, for example, there was this ark that Moses stole. He had this box. He claimed it was given to him by God, but I think he stole it from the Egyptians. That's why they fled after him.
An ark.
Yeah, so it's this box with these cherubims on it, but these cherubims are it's really a capacitor. It generates a lot of electricity. Inside of this box is something that has so much radiation. That's what it looks like there.
Yo, it's Memo. So after Moses was instructed to make the tablets again, after he destroyed the tablets the first time, coming down and seeing Aaron and them defiling themselves and doing all types of weird stuff in the city, right? He was instructed by Yahweh to create the tabernacle and the Ark of the Covenant. Anybody know the Ark of the Covenant is this big old box, and it's made of acacia wood, and it's about 52 inches long, 31 inches wide, and 31 inches high. And it's covered in gold inside out with 4 rings of poles that are attached to each side, because they couldn't carry it with 2 cherubims on top. And the reason they had cherubims is because you're talking about this is an electromagnetic device. This is why they had the poles, because of the radiation that was coming off of this device. Because you're talking about enough radiation to kill somebody. So what you're saying is that, acacia wood is what is the most highly resistant to these weather conditions and these pressure conditions. So it's making it extremely useful for the ark. So you have acacia wood going all throughout all the elements. I mean, being able to handle most of these elements or most of these forces that come from this electromagnetic device. And then you have what you call this gold that is encased around it too, because you need it to be highly conductive. So this is a generator. This is an electromagnetic generator. So if anybody ever asks you what the Ark of the Covenant is, it's an electromagnetic generator. Why is it an electromagnetic generator? Because we're talking about a device that was able to, the Bible says, and many other texts say that this device was able to kill folks, like literally just by being close to it, without protection, without gloves on, without rubber gloves and certain suits and certain things on your body. You couldn't even touch the device, because it would literally cause your hair and your nails and your skin to fall out. And you know what I'm saying? Because this is dealing with radiation sickness. So you're talking about how every device back then, and this is why they probably took it from the Egyptians, and why the Egyptians were probably chasing them, because every device back then dealt with the product of electromagnetism. And now we call everything gravity and all these other things, but we know that to create a generator, right? So a generator works by through the principle of electromagnetic induction, which means you convert mechanical energy into electric energy by rotating the coil of wire within a magnetic field. And this creates an electric current by moving the conductor through the magnetic field, essentially forcing electrons to flow through the circuit. So also many people like Billy Carson, Samuel Blee, Aisha Dean, and a couple others know that the Ark of the Covenant is actually a time portal. It's a device to access these time portals, or go through these interdimensional portals, or intergalactic bridge to connect D2 core of the Earth and what they call Universal Stargate 9 or Andromeda, right? A certain galaxy in Andromeda. So basically, and the CDT plates is where this information is coming from, as well as Billy Carson, as well as many different other people have studied over this. Plus myself, I've studied into some things, and I've realized that what you're getting at is these devices was specifically used when it comes to manipulating time and space, anything dealing with these devices. So you're talking, I'll have a full video about each of these devices that they used in Egypt to manipulate electromagnetic fields of other objects and be able to do certain things, right? But if we stay on this one, to the whole point of them even creating this ark to be able to have this bridge, because that's what an ark is a bridge. You see the wordplay, ark of the covenant, A-R-C-H, not A-R-R-K, but A-R-C-H, like an archangel, because you're dealing with the ark of like a bridge, to being a bridge, the gap between one realm and the next. So that's what's happening, is the Ark of the Covenant is creating this bridge to bring back the lost souls that was on 5D Tara, on a higher frequency, that got stuck because they decided to go through evolutionary periods through science instead of going through it through spirituality. And so what happens is you go into this separation from source, then you have to be realigned back with source. So what they did was these lost souls that was on a higher plane came back to a lower plane, the third dimension, to try again. And so a lot of them are redoing the cycles of time that they did not complete in the proper manner when you talk about karma. And that's what's happening, right? So that's what these, to be able to ascend back up to honor the Emerald Covenant or the green light. So the Ark was always created after Atlantis in 9,558 BC to house the rod and the staff. And the rod and the staff, and I'm gonna bring that up for y'all, right? Now, if you want to know about the rod and the staff, it's pretty simple, because now Moses was carrying this rod and staff, right? And Moses is obviously really Thutmose, and Moses obviously is really talking about Hermes Trismegistus. And so what you're getting at is when you look at this snake serpent staff that Moses had in the wilderness and Moses had to part the Red Sea, the serpent staff is what you call the Nehushtan. And the Nehushtan deals with the electromagnetic frequency when you're talking about the coil of the snake going around the pole. And this pole and this coil and the way this electromagnetic current is going around these poles is creating a certain frequency that will be able to do things like part the Red Sea in terms of being able to, hold back. Be able to create fields of energy to hold back water or split things or to freeze things in stagnant vibration with the pole, with the staff. So this is what it really can do. We're talking about devices that almost seem supernatural. So when you look at this, you really look at like this is symbolism, right? Because you see the two snakes, but the two snakes are actually two coils. So you see these two coils. This is always talking about the balance of positive and negative electricity, and then what you call or magnet, and then positive and negative forces, my bad. And then you have electricity coming down the center, and you talking about these poles. This is polarity. So what you're saying is this is actually a device that is used to sustain the portal open. So you would have the Ark of the Covenant being the generator, and this would be the what they call it, like a capacitor or something, the ability to keep the portal open as they, or need to go through the portal. That's why he said, thy rod and thy staff comfort me. So that's what that really is when you're talking about these devices. This is why when you would see, when they built the tabernacle, you would have this fire that could come out of this device, because you're talking about how fire is created through, radiation, or you're talking about how light is created through electromagnetic radiation. So that's all this is they created these electromagnetic devices because they knew that these devices could be utilized for two things: to either help people or to harm people, because obviously you can use these electromagnetic devices to kill a whole bunch of folks too. You feel me? So this is why it was so important that they protected these devices. And they went to different places. This device had been taken to Ethiopia or any of these places, or been lost through time, because they had to hide this device again because of the dangers that it brought, being such a powerful electromagnetic tool. You feel what I'm saying? So you see that this was a common theme back in the ancient times to get into the higher levels of science and how to utilize the higher levels of science, versus nowadays we utilize such base science and we think we're so complicated and so deep. You feel what I'm saying? We were nowhere near as complicated as them. We want to see ourselves as that, but yet still, these scientists, they work on these theoretical projects when you have beings back then that knew how to do this. And this is why they block, they don't even let people dig in certain areas in Egypt. They don't let people go and dig in certain areas in the Middle East and different places like this, because they knew that they would end up finding the truth out, that we couldn't keep it hidden, that these gods and stuff were just highly advanced beings, highly intelligent beings that was above our pay grade or caliber at that moment of time. And that's all it really was. You feel me? So, you feel me? That is what the Ark of the Covenant is. We can go more into it if you want to. Also, I'm going to talk about some of the other devices that was utilized in Egypt, because they needed each device for a certain tool, depending upon what they were doing at that time. You know what I'm saying? It's some devices even hold back certain energy, chaos energy. You feel me? We'll talk about that too.